All right. Yeah, just decided to go for a walk today. Had some library books due back, so practiced my speed reading for the month. That was one of my items for February that I was going to work on every day, but didn't ever make a schedule, so I didn't really stick to that one. A lot going on in February. So today I had 8 books due back to the library. I had another one that I thought I'd go ahead and read because it was connected to social media, so it seemed interesting and applicable, relevant to my current situation. So I decided to try speed reading all those books. So I set a timer and I made it through all 9 books in about 4.5 hours. I was doing 30 minutes per book using the techniques that I've been practicing. Again, I'm not reading every word on the page. I'm not going to be able to quote every line of the book. But I know a lot more now about those topics than I did before. It's time well spent. And I know that I definitely want to go back and read a couple of those books in more detail, taking my time, reading every word, thinking about it, doing some research on it. But while I was there, picked up some more books, farming books, gardening, human body, aging, and want to look back over things that I learned back in high school that, get a new take on things, refresh my memory. So, it doesn't have to be all new topics. There's a lot of relearning things that, learned in your past and just want to touch up on it, help with the retention and the recall and connecting dots between topics. So I got some interesting books, but library closed at 5, so I decided that I'd go ahead and take a little walk today. We're expecting, I don't know, the range is quite wide there. A couple of inches of snow or a foot of snow. It just depends on where the polar vortex and the precipitation hit. But yeah, Maryland's expected to get quite a storm tomorrow. So I figure this is my chance to get out, have a nice walk before the temperature drops again and ground gets covered with snow. I think this one's just snow, hopefully. Last time it was mostly ice. Wasn't nearly as much fun to play in, but it looked pretty. All right, so I've been watching a lot of Rob the Maritimer's videos as I've been learning about YouTube and getting a feel for how to do all this. And a lot of his videos, he's out for a walk, out in nature, taking a cold water plunge for 100,000 subscribers. Congratulations. So thought I'd give it a try. I know with the topics I'm covering, a lot of those will be outdoor activities. I'm going to be doing a lot of gardening, a lot of farming, as many other topics as I can find outside. Love being out in nature. Especially right now with it being wintertime and learning YouTube, a lot of my time has been spent at my desk, editing videos, just trying to learn new skills, build a channel. Slow growing, but I feel like I'm making progress. Getting little indicators that people are interested in my material. I can be a content creator at 52. I'm not an expert, but I've got experiences. I've got things in my past that I can tell stories about the topics I'm learning now. I have a frame of reference, and I think some valuable inputs for people that may be on the same journey. So I'm really enjoying the experience of it so far. New skills, playing around with different tools, learning video editing, learning about social media that I've pretty much avoided most of my career. So yeah, it's a lot of new experiences, and hopefully you'll find those interesting, and you'll want to go ahead and subscribe, join the journey, get notified when I'm coming out with new content. I don't know what all my content will be. Yeah, that's one of the things with starting a YouTube channel is they tell you to find your niche, your niche. Nobody can agree on how to pronounce it. Both are correct. So for mine, it's kind of all over the place. There is, oh, hold on a second. Let me reverse this and a little nature right here. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, there's been some controlling the deer population in this park over the last year. But you can see they're still here. There's still a lot of deer in the area. If you're quiet, even though I'm talking to a camera, I'm still peaceful, not going through making a ruckus. And get these little moments. That's awesome. All right, well, I don't want to disturb them, but I do need to continue my walk because it's getting towards sunset here. See if we can walk around them quietly here. I think they're more interesting than I am, so why don't we keep the camera on them instead of on me? I'll try to. It's hard to walk and keep focused. Like I said, learning new skills here. Hopefully we can avoid scaring the deer off. Go. Beautiful. All right, yeah, they're keeping an eye on me. Why don't we go ahead and shift the focus back to me. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna walk, keep an eye on them, try not to scare them away. Yep, two beautiful deer right there. I don't think that's the same two I filmed earlier. They circled around from a different direction. So it tells me there's more than one little group of them kind of wandering through, keeping each other safe and protected. It's rare you see one of them by itself till they get a little bit older and you start seeing the bucks out. Oh, I didn't even notice that one. Let's turn that around. Yeah, there's a third one right there. Wow, that is just amazing. Yeah. You get those urges to do something in life and you question, hey, should I do it? This little experience right here is all because I decided, came back from the library, it was still pretty, there's going to be snow tomorrow, so I'm going to go for a walk through the park and look at what I got to experience. That is so awesome. All right, well, let's continue the walk here. Yeah, that moment kind of reminds me, growing up, they used to have all these nature shows. And there was one that was on like PBS. Can't remember the guy's name, but he would just go on these walks through the woods. He'd find bugs and trees and just all kind of animals, and he would just be sharing his knowledge of those as he went through the park or as he walked through the woods. And yeah, here I am doing something kind of similar, decades later. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to share this video. I think this is really just practice for me, but that's where a lot of my videos have come from. It's just having an idea, thinking, hey, somebody else is going to be on the same journey, starting a YouTube channel, trying to figure out what kind of content they can cover. You think you have to be an expert on things, but you really don't. I don't think I'm ever going to claim to be an expert. But, I've got experiences, I've got skills. But kind of the point of this channel is developing new skills, sharing that journey with others, giving them support for their own adventures, their skills they're trying to learn. Different approaches to learning. I'm learning about learning. One of the books that I'm probably going to do a little bit more on later as I finish the book is ultra learning. That one's really interesting. Learning a new language every 3 months for a year. Learning an entire MIT 4-year course in 1 year on your own. Just some amazing stuff. And it kind of, and I could relate to it. Doing this YouTube channel, I'm developing new skills. Oh, look at there, even more deer. Yeah, kind of snuck up on those. I didn't even see them. They do tend to blend in, especially when they're still and you can't see their tails. Those tails kind of stand out. All right, continue. But yeah, this is a nice day for just seeing the deer in the park. I got to turn around. I'm walking away from sunset now, so you get to see that beautiful sunset behind me. Yeah, I may save this, edit it down, use what I think makes sense. I'm sure there's going to be some hiccups and missteps along the way. Hopefully it doesn't mean tripping. There are a lot of roots. Dad jokes. Okay. Yeah, so I'm finishing up my series on the target build, doing the axe throwing and knife throwing this month. It's part of my monthly resolutions. So, yeah, I'm having a good experience doing those. Trying to come up with comments for the videos. Trying to keep an ongoing commentary from editor Kevin. It's a kind of a different personality. Having some fun with that. And it's just good learning some of the using DaVinci Resolve still. So using some of the tools there, creating different tracks. Took a photo with the blueprint for the throwing target build that I'm doing from the World Axe Throwing League. So it feels all official. But yeah, going through that experience and taking images of that and integrating that into the video. I think that's turned out, I don't know, better than expected. It seemed like one of those complicated things to have those pictures within your videos. Even had some kittens and a picture of Jed Clampett in the last one, which that's an odd combination of images to have in a video. That may be a first for the internet. So yeah, really enjoying this. Getting to do a lot of unique experiences, things I wouldn't be doing otherwise. And I can see that this is only the beginning. I can, been reading a lot of longevity books, the Second 50, how to age and set yourself up so that you're not worried about health and money and all the other different concerns with old age that most people immediately think about. There's an aging problem. All the young people are going to have to take care of the old people. But I know I kind of see that the other way around. Old people are still looking out for the young people. I think it requires all of us working together to make this thing work. So, watching my step here, a few little roots on this part of the path. Yeah, I was thinking I'd find a nice little spot and just, I've got a little walkie stick tripod combo here. So I was thinking I would just set that up in a nice little spot. I'm coming up on a little bridge here. Let me flip the camera around, got a little view on it. Ooh, let's bring that back out of the 10 times. Yeah, see, there's a nice little bridge here. So I was thinking a little spot like that. Just a little video there, but kind of going along with that Rob the Maritimer thing. Now I keep mentioning him, but him, old Mike, and Kevin Colby. That's the ones I've kind of related to. Older gentlemen starting a YouTube channel, sharing their experiences. They have a little bit different focus than I do. So I don't think we're, competing against each other. I think even if we were talking about the exact same topics, still don't think it'd be a competition. It'd be a community. It's kind of the way a lot of this works. Yeah, I know in one of the videos, they mentioned some of the forums and the sites that they use to kind of establish their communities and talk with other like-minded folks, people starting out on this kind of adventure. So I've been meaning to log on there and kind of introduce myself. So may do that when I get back home this evening. Still got another video to edit and got to film an intro and outro once I figure out what I'm going to say. Trying to improve those and actually script them out, but still present them like it's, me just talking. Harder to do than to say. But times like this where I'm just out walking and talking, kind of like it. I can definitely see doing something like this in the future. Just maybe once a week, get out, just go for a walk and talk and share what happened during the week. I can edit out the parts that I want to share. Some of it's probably just for me, just a chance to kind of, I don't know, be talking to somebody even when there's nobody there. Get you locked up back in some periods of time, but nowadays, as long as you're holding a camera when you do it, nobody blinks an eye. So, yeah, there's a lot of new technology. AI is becoming huge. Really been trying to research and study AI, using lots of different AI integrated into other tools. And a lot of my thumbnails is coming from vidIQ. They have a nice way to generate using your likeness. They don't look exactly like me, but it lets me kind of focus on the content. I need to learn how to build, make my own thumbnails, get them exactly the way I want. But there's AI tools that help me out, so I might as well use them. I think they do a good job. I get a score on each of them. Lets me know, how clickable they may actually be. So instead of relying on my own, beginner skills, I get to use their expertise, the knowledge they built into their AI tools, to kind of give me a few steps ahead on that path. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm just, using that to learn as well, because I can see the types of things, so it's very educational. If they're doing their text in a certain way, a certain number of words on the thumbnail, different fonts and colors, and just all the little details, the facial expressions that it'll contort my face in some really interesting ones sometimes. Yeah, my sister, she was saying that, it definitely didn't look like me for one of those. So I ended up changing that one out. It's good to get that A/B testing from family. They'll let you know when it's kind of silly and you need to redo it. Yeah, that's another thing. I was waiting till my channel got larger before I, let family and friends know about my YouTube adventure here. But I don't know, it wasn't out of, embarrassment or anything like that. It was, a lot of the videos had told me, hey, if you send out the people that aren't your target, they're not your target audience, then YouTube, the algorithm, is going to learn their own thing. So when it's trying to match your content to potential viewers, it's not going to match them up correctly. It's going to slow the growth of your channel. Well, after, I don't know, I guess a little over a month since my first video, I've got 32 videos out in about a month. So I think that's about a video a day. It hasn't been exactly that. There's been a couple of days where I would do a short and a long form. Try not to do 2 long forms on the same day. Try to space those out every other day when I can. But I was saying, with all that, I've only got 16 subscribers so far. Not complaining. It's amazing to have 16 subscribers. Now, I know a couple of those are family, people that, my wife may have told, or, there were other things going on in my life and felt like I should let them know what's going on with me. Share it from, that perspective. But I think I'm at the point now where the algorithm's had a chance to learn who I am, what kind of content I'm producing. I've got enough videos on the channel that, there's some basis for it to find my viewers. But on another video I watched recently, it was saying that the way the algorithm works, it's kind of treating each of your videos independently. So it's not basing it off of, sorry, there's more deer here. Yeah, it's not basing it strictly off of your niche and what other videos you've produced. Sorry, I'm trying to be still so I don't scare the deer away. There's 2 up on the hill, another over on this other hill to the side. I think I'm just going to keep walking and talking quietly. But yeah, so it's trying to figure out how to help YouTube to grow my channel. I mean, I don't see the algorithm as an adversary. I see it as an assistant that I need to help train. It is trying to do its best job for me and for YouTube. I mean, if I don't generate views, they don't generate income through ads. So it's in their benefit to make me successful. You don't get that in many jobs. So I'm really liking those aspects of pursuing this little venture here. Um, yeah, I'm finding as I'm making these videos that I'm more of a talker than I thought I was. Put a camera in front of me and, pretty comfortable with it. I don't think I've had a big learning curve on comfort level in front of a camera. It's more just knowing what to say. And if I try to script things out, which I'm usually probably only going to do if it's like an intro or something where I want to make sure that I say the right things, get that hook in there until that becomes more natural and I can just, do that off the cuff. I'm thinking that way. I know what works and the right words will come automatically. Not there yet. Hold on. Seeing lights behind me. I know there's a parking lot back that way, but there's also some park workers here that they do travel down the paths. Now they're revving their engine way too much to be park workers. I've seen their little vehicles. They're more like little, 4x4 golf cart kind of things. Pretty nice though. Wouldn't mind having one of those myself someday when I have more property. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to cut this. Figure out what's useful, what's not. But I think I'm definitely going to make a video for this little experiment. Get some feedback on it. Testing my tools and my skills, making sure I got the microphone set up correctly. You can see it there. Use a nice little clip-on mic. You can see I got my earbud in there because I figure I'm going to stop and listen back and make sure it's all good. So there's somebody driving around here. Oh, I am getting toward one of the little roads here. I think I'll take another little side path just to stay in the woods and keep talking. Get more content, capture this moment. And that's the beautiful thing too, is part of what inspired me to do this was I've kept a lot of journals. I'm keeping a lot of journals right now. I've got, got one in my pocket right now. Yeah, so I've got, a little journal on me at all times, little pocket journal, just writing down ideas. Tons of ideas for YouTube videos, capturing ideas for, things I want to learn, things I want to do, to-do lists, trying to do some time management because I keep adding things to my plate, but not really taking anything off. So staying very busy, which is good. Doing my countdown. So I'm right at 1,000 days. So I will be retiring in 1,000 days. That is just kind of a scary thought, but also, wow, that will be so amazing. Remember starting this job I'm on now, the one that's coming to an end in a few short weeks, as soon as I can find another position. But when I was starting this one, there was a guy on the team who was, counting down his last few days before his retirement, and just a smile on his face every time you saw him. Didn't have to say anything about it. You knew looking at him. He had some good plans. He knew what was coming up, and he was just excited about life. So instead of waiting and doing that, when I'm down to a handful of days, I started countdown at around, 1,300 days when I started the actual talking to a financial advisor and knew that it was a possibility. So yeah, trying to make every day count until then, and then start another countdown and work towards that. Try to make every day count for the rest of my life, because you never know when it's your last day. Always tell your family that you love them when you part ways. Always make sure that the people around know that you care about them. You might not see them again. On to a happier topic before I break into tears here in the park, walking through the woods. Yeah, good times. Getting some interesting lighting. I think that's going to be kind of fun to go back and look when I'm editing all this content. Is just how the light changes as I'm walking through the park. Getting close to sunset here. Well, it's already past sunset technically. Sun's already below the horizon. So I'm probably gonna have to cut this in a little bit just because it is getting darker. Kind of helps having, nice high quality cameras these days. We all carry them in our pockets, got the smartphones, so we have phones that, a decade ago, you couldn't have dreamed of having that as something that you would actually be purchasing and carrying around with you. Now it's just incorporated into your phone, into that little device in your pocket that's always with you. Well, mostly. I can't actually have my phone with me at work. So, I've been playing phone tag with Zen Business for over a week now. They keep calling me during the day. I keep telling them, hey, if you want to reach me, I don't have my phone until after 6. So we'll hook up eventually. I'll figure out the rest of the details to continue my business and get all the paperwork and taxes and all those details figured out. I have a retention bonus with work that should be fully vested tomorrow, so that will be an investment in my business. I'm going to take part of that money and use that to fund my YouTube adventure here. My wife agreed to, a certain amount that, we can kind of spare. I also have a daughter in college, so, other priorities. But, I'm very fortunate to kind of having a few things align in my life that are giving me this opportunity, giving me the resources, the time, the focus to be able to do it. And kind of being in a place that I think I have something to share. If you had asked me a year ago, would I ever start a YouTube channel? Well, first of all, I'd be playing the video game and you'd probably not even have me paying attention close enough to notice the question. Well, no, I do try to pay attention, but I had different priorities. I was, passing the time, playing games. And I had goals in my games, but now I have goals in my life. And I'm going through a muddy section here, trying to find my footing so I don't film myself falling on my bottom. All right, I think there's a path over here. Yeah, so far, I haven't run across any people. I've met more deer along this path today than I have people. That's kind of typical, though. Not as many people out in the park, especially on cold days. I don't know. I think when we get that temperature drop for the snow tomorrow, this is going to be a warm day. Actually, it's pretty comfortable. It's getting a little bit colder now that the sun's down. Oh yeah, muddy section here. Let me focus on that. Good timing. That way I'll be cutting this little part out because I'm not talking while I'm trying to go around the mud. I can wipe my nose in peace. Always on camera. Yeah, it's going to be a part of my life. And to a degree, the people in my life. Not sure how they feel about that, how I feel about that. I think that's going to be kind of a one-on-one basis kind of discussion if people want to be part of my channel. My sister has shown an interest. There's already a live stream on my channel where I connected her over Riverside, which was really easy. I just sent her a link. She had the app on her phone and it just connected. She was on the screen before I was. I was still trying to figure out some details to get my phone as my webcam through Camo. And I was thinking it was an issue with that. Updated it, went ahead and signed a subscription. So I had the pro features, and yeah, there is an affiliate link in the description. Noticed that when I was going through trying to get all the rest of the stuff figured out. Careful, another section here with some mud and snow. But what I was saying is my sister has shown interest and she's agreed to do live streams with me. We're actually going to do another one tomorrow. So that'll be our second one. I think this one, the first one, I just live streamed it straight to YouTube and it gets posted and then they process it for the high quality, but it's already there. I don't have a chance to edit it. It's easy because you don't have to do any editing. It just goes straight there. Go from a live stream that, if you have community involved in that, right to a video on your site that anybody can watch forever. But I think for this one, The goal is I'd like to do a podcast. Still trying to figure out the details of the topics and all that, but it'd fit into my niche, doing the learning skills, the growth, which kind of opens up everything to a degree, but it gives it a focus, so it's not just open-ended. There actually is a reasoning behind the things that I'm including in the content for my channel. I know it seems all over the place, but there's consistency there beneath the surface. Is all skills development. It's the evergreen growth journey. I mean, I know I have mentioned that in a few videos, coming up with that term, but it actually does mean a lot to me. I mean, that's my LLC now. That's something I'm going to continue, hopefully, the rest of my life. So it's a journey that I'm starting now, and everybody's welcome to join me on it. We can support each other through this crazy adventure. All the ups and downs, the lessons learned, the mistakes, the skills that you're interested in, give it a try, and maybe it's not for you. Or you might find that skill that changes your life. Yeah, like YouTube for me, hopefully. Seems like it's going well so far, so I'm hoping that continues. Yeah, I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but arm gets a little tired holding on to the selfie stick that long. I think this kind of works though. I mean, it's cameras today have the stabilization. So, I mean, this is professional quality. I mean, this looks like a scene from a movie. That reminds me. With the whole imposter syndrome, and there's a version of that. Yeah, so there's imposter syndrome where you think, hey, people have this high opinion of me. They think I'm this expert or something, and I know I'm not. I know I'm just me. I'm doing the best I can, and hopefully that's good enough. But there's kind of like a variation of that, where it's kind of like the Truman Show. You've seen that with Jim Carrey, where he's on this reality TV show his whole life. He doesn't have another basis to know what real life is. So there's this whole thing of, thinking you're on a TV show. Always had that kind of little inkling feeling in the back of my head, And now that I'm doing YouTube, it does kind of feel like that's going to become part of my life. Not that I'm going to be famous and have millions of people watching me, everything I do for the rest of my life. But I will be sharing video of myself doing things. Not that I'm going to be famous, not that I'm better or look better or do things better than anybody, but I'm willing to share it and take the feedback, good and bad. And yeah, another variation of that I've been looking at is with AI. I've been playing around with AI a lot, just having conversations, using it to learn topics, using it to learn about AI, which I love when I have those kind of meta situations to where you're using a thing to learn about a thing. So, more mud. But yeah, I had a great conversation with the AI where I was looking at the intersection of artificial reality and existential philosophy. I know, deep, right? But it was kind of if you put a person in a scenario where their whole life is in a virtual reality, you've got an HMD, you got the head mounted display to where resolution is high enough quality, you've got the other sensory feedback. If they had all the sensation of being alive in that video or in that reality, that virtual reality, what would be their basis for knowing truth from simulation? And in the end, does it really matter? There's that whole matrix kind of thing of, are we all living in a simulation? Can't prove one way or the other. Same with a lot of philosophy. Yeah, I can definitely see it's getting darker quick now. I might have to call this an ending pretty shortly. But yeah, it's been a good conversation. I think it'll be the first of many. I'll edit this down, come up with something hopefully interesting and watchable, and continue my walk through the park. It is getting colder, so probably not going to be going on a walk tomorrow. Definitely got some snow coming. All right, well, thank you for joining me on this adventure. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Continue the journey with me. Leave me some feedback in the comments. Let me know what I'm doing good, what I need to improve on, skills you would like to see me film and learn about. Maybe something you're excited about that I might be excited about too, and decide to include that in the content on the channel. So, all right, well, I'll end it there. Safe travels, and welcome to the journey.